Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! So this is a story from 2nd grade. I'm about to graduate high school, so a few details may be a bit fuzzy. However, I can remember the conversation with our vice principal perfectly. And yes, I really wish I could say this was fake. So back in elementary, when I was around 7, I got bullied a lot. The biggest reason was a year prior I had something called Majaki granuloma. It was where my body took a form of ringworm and mutated it. It wasn't contagious or anything. It just looks really gross and weird. So these groups of boys would pick on me and bully me, but none was worse than Kyle. Not his real name, by the way. He would taunt and tease me, steal my stuff, eat my food, call me names, and so on. However, this kid was prone to having random nosebleeds. I don't know why. I think he picked his nose a lot and that's what caused it, but I'm not certain. All I know is that many times a day he would run to the teacher dripping with blood. I would have to go to the nurse's office. Now on to the story. After we would be done with recess, he would sit in lines according to his class we were in. Kyle and I were in the same class, but his little gang was in a different class. The area where we lined up had a little rock border that had a bunch of tiny pebbles. One day, when the teachers weren't looking, Kyle's gang started throwing pebbles at me, and then Kyle started pulling my hair. It was at that point I pulled my arm in front of my face to block the pebbles, and I stood up so Kyle couldn't pull my hair anymore. Well, this jerk didn't let go, or I stood up too fast, I don't know, so he fell flat on his face. I didn't see this cause I still had my arm covering my face. All I know is that I start hearing Kyle scream bloody murder. The kid had blood dripping down his face, like a lot. Our teacher hears this and comes running to ask what happened, and I will never forget what that little jerk said. "She punched me." What? No, I didn't. No, I didn't really have a lot of friends, again because of the ringworm mutation, but Kyle has his old gang who enthusiastically nodded along with what he said. So I got dragged to the principal's office and I had the following conversation with the VP that went like this. "Why did you hit Kyle?" "I didn't." "Then why are all these kids saying you did?" "Because they are his friends." "Then how does he have a bloody nose?" "He fell on his face." "That wouldn't have given him a bloody nose, so again, why did you hit him?" This went back and forth for a while with her not believing me until finally I got fed up. This part I remember perfectly. Me fed up with this crap, I say, "Fine, I hit him." "Why did you lie to me?" "I'm not lying, but it's clear you won't believe anything I say." I was a sassy brat, so I got my first in-school suspension. I was told I was gonna have to sit in a room for a week. Not that I care too much honestly, but then our favorite entitled mother comes in. So my mom, Kyle's mom, and since this could be considered assault, the deputy Martin had to join us in the principal's office for a meeting to discuss what happened. And let me tell you, this witch was insane. The principal says thank you both for coming. As you know, disciplinary action has already been determined, but I want to know if the parents have anything else to say. "Officer, arrest her!" she shouts, pointing at me. "What?" he asked, caught off guard. "That jerk is a menace to society. She needs to be detained." "Ma'am, please do not curse in front of the kids." "Do not tell me what to do. None of this would have happened if you have done your job." Now, my principal did not take no nonsense from anyone. "Actually, Karen, if you taught your kid it is not okay to bully others, we wouldn't be here." "What the hell are you talking about? My kid has never bullied anyone." It was at this moment the principal nodded to me to tell my side of the story. I say his friends were throwing rocks at me, and he was pulling on my hair. The entitled mother saw red. "Shut up, you little liar. How dare you lie about my son just to get out of trouble?" "Don't talk to my kid that way," my mom tells her. "He's told me multiple times what your son does." "Shut up, you lying witch. No wonder your kid is such a liar. She gets it from her mother." Now, I don't like stereotypes, but my mom and dad are both from Jersey and definitely have the fighting spirit. First of all, stop cursing. Your kid already has enough bad habits. Second, stop trying to get my kid arrested because your son is a bully. I agree she shouldn't have hit him, but it's understandable why she did. How dare you? My son would never hurt anyone. Your kid should be put in a school for autistic kids. Clearly she can't handle normal schools. Well, I have ADHD, ADD, ODD, and something else I can't remember the name of. It is the lowest form of autism, but it does still count, I guess. Deputy Martin adds, Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to calm down. How about you do your job, pig? Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to leave now. I'm not leaving until you arrest her or put her in a different school. Ma'am, leave. Now, he said, holding a pair of handcuffs out. The entitled mother went white but stormed off with Kyle in tow. The principal apologized profusely and said the boy would be getting punished as well. My mom kissed me goodbye and went home. And that's where our story should end. A few hours later, school got out. I live literally 5 minutes from school and I was old enough to walk myself home, so that was a plan. I get out and start walking home when I feel a sharp tug on my backpack, and surprise, surprise, it is the entitled mother. You're coming with me right now. Nope, I'm going home. Let me go. We are going to the police station. I was so scared because I didn't leave from the front of the building like most people did, but rather the side, so there weren't a lot of people around us. Then I remember what my mom told me to do if someone ever tried to kidnap me. I screamed at the top of my lungs, so loud I lost my voice a few days after. You're not my mom. The entitled mother grabs me by my face, putting her hand over my mouth. Shut up, you're going to get what you deserve. I honestly thought I was going to die. Here I was being held by this weird lady and dragged to her soccer mom car. Side note, she literally grabbed my face so hard, it left marks. I was finished, done for. I started to cry thinking I was never going to see my family again. And then my gut scent came over. What the hell are you doing? It was Deputy Martin. Turns out Deputy Martin had parked his patrol car next to the side exit. Thank God. You won't do your job? So I'm taking her to find a cop who will. Now, if I know anything about Deputy Martin, it's that he really doesn't take nonsense. So right then and there, he said it. Those 3 magical words. You're under arrest. And the entitled mother jaw hit the floor. She let me go and tried to run, but Deputy Martin caught her easily. After that, Officer Martin put her in his car and called my parents. He calmed me down and gave me this little Dalmatian stuffed animal. I named him Patch and still cuddle him every night. I also don't know why he had this, but honestly I don't care to ask. After my mom got there, Martin explained what happened and asked if my mom wanted to press charges. My mom obviously said yes. At one point, 2 different police officers who couldn't have been nicer asked me what happened. The entitled mother was charged with assault, attempted kidnapping, and resisting arrest. Martin patrolled the 3 schools in my area, elementary, middle, and high school, so I've basically grown up with him there. I am currently 18 and Martin even came to my graduation party. God bless that man. So this just happened a couple weeks back, but I've been waiting to see how it ended before sharing. My old Kindle, rest in peace, had just died, and I was borrowing my wife's tablet to get my reading fix. I was just chilling in the cafeteria with a coffee after working a short notice call in multi-car accident for 4 hours. Because I was shopping when I got the call, I wasn't in uniform. So it's just me in an old t-shirt and jeans trying to grab a minute to myself before my shift properly kicked off. I was pretty into my ebook when I felt a tug on my elbow. I turned around to find a little Indian, Southeast Asian, not Native American kid looking at the tablet. He's maybe 5 or 6 years old and asks if I have any games on my iPad. Well, it's not an iPad, it's an old Samsung thing. I tell him no, this is a boring old person tablet. It only has books. While we have our little conversation, I'm looking around for any evidence of parents. Hospitals are big places, and kids get lost a lot. He seems disappointed in the game situation and wanders off, and I think nothing of it. A bit later, the 5-minute warning goes off on my phone to let me know I need to get back upstairs to the lab. I dash off to the coffee machine for that one last refill and foolishly leave the tablet sitting on my jacket on the table. When I come back, the tablet is gone. I do that thing everyone does where I pat all my pockets and look on the floor. But the thing is really gone. I grab my jacket up and head to the counter to see if they saw anything, but on the way I see the kid from earlier leaving with his mother. And he's got my tablet. I know it's my wife's because the cover is very distinctive with cartoon characters on it, so I know it is hers. I catch up with him and politely ask if I can have the tablet back. The mother kinda smiles at me, but we have a bit of a language barrier. I do the world's most performance art miming that the tablet is mine. She talks to the kid who's starting to whine and clutches the tablet to his chest. At this point, I'm thinking this is going to be fine. The mother knows what's up, and I'm going to get my stuff and all is going to be well. Enter the entitled dad. I didn't see him coming. He must have still been at the counter or in one of the booths. The kid had gone from whining to angry crying pretty quick, and suddenly 5'4" of the entitled dad was there jabbing a finger at me and yelling in broken English. "What are you doing?" I tell the guy that his kid has my tablet. In between his outbursts, I just want it back. He doesn't even look at the kid. He's just yelling, "My son is not a thief. You leave. My son is not a thief. You leave." I tell him that I'm happy to leave, just give me back my property and I'm gone. I don't raise my voice, my hands are at my sides and I'm trying to keep things nice, but this guy is getting revved up. He keeps repeating the line about not being a thief and sprinkling in that I'm a racist every once in a while. Somebody must have called security because a security guard walks into the cafeteria and makes a beeline for us. Now, it is worth mentioning that the guard and the entitled dad are the same race. The entitled dad starts speaking rapid-fire Hindi to the guard. He stops every once in a while, and the entitled mother nods along with whatever he's saying. I can't understand a thing, so I just stand there waiting for my turn to speak. I mean, security is here, so how much longer can this go on? So you can imagine my shock when the security guard asks me to step aside. Not so we can talk, nope, so that the entitled dad and family can leave. What the damn hell? Apparently, I was harassing the mother and the child, and the entitled dad had stepped in and now I was refusing to let them leave. I tell the security guard as patiently as I can that I was not harassing anybody. I just want my tablet back so I can get back to work. The security guy looks at the kid holding the cartoon character cover tablet and starts talking to the entitled mother and dad again in Hindi. Then he tells me again to move aside so they can leave or else he will be forced to contact the police and restrain me. I am not sure if it was a security guy's stupidity or the entitled dad's smug face, but something did snap in my brain and I went a bit Karen on the guy. I tell the security guy that I'm happy to comply, but I am calling his boss and he's going to be liable for my property being stolen. The entitled family shuffles out the exit and I start to dial. The security guy was probably thinking that he was going to put me in my place because when you dial security, they patch you through the officer closest to the location, which was him. He already had his phone out ready to give me the "I'm the manager" talk. I bypassed the switchboard completely and phoned his boss directly. Working after hours had its perks. The security supervisor is a guy I'm going to call Dave. Dave is an ex-cop. Dave runs a tight ship and Dave does not tolerate stupidity lightly. I say hi to Dave and get to see the security guy's eyes boggle a little bit. I ask Dave if he's aware that his officers are allowing thieves to leave the hospital while the people they have robbed are detained in the cafeteria. I give him the full rundown of the last 10 minutes with the guard's name sprinkled in there fairly liberally along with a description of the entitled family. A security guy is losing the color from his face. Dave doesn't waste any time. He has the details confirmed by the guy in a camera room and radios the other guards to stop them at the exit. I hang up with Dave, look at the security guy and ask him if he feels like getting me my tablet back now. He's off like a shot. I call my manager and let them know the nonsense I'm dealing with. He laughs and tells me to take my time but keep him updated. Security winds up returning the family to the cafeteria about 5 minutes later minus my tablet. I ask what happened to it, and the newly arrived security guards tell me that when confronted, the entitled dad took the tablet from the entitled kid and threw it on the ground. Dave has the contents in a plastic bag. The thing is mangled, screen smashed, cases wrapped, just a total write-off. Dave has wisely chosen to call the police at that point. The entitled dad has been fairly uncooperative until the word police was spoken. He was still saying that there was no proof. The iPod, it was not an iPod, dude, was mine. The guard had brought him back to point out the dozen or so cameras in the cafeteria. He was looking decidedly less smug by the time the cops got there. Looked at the remains of the tablet, looked at the footage, and issued the entitled dad with a fine and a charge for theft and destruction of property. What could have been a quick teachable moment for a kid turned into almost 3 freaking hours of talking to the cops and getting my case number before I could finally go back to work. They filled out an incident report for me, so I still got paid. Dave, you are the MVP. The aftermath. A couple days later, I got a call from a lawyer who worked for the family that the entitled dad was visiting. He arranged for my iPad. Seriously, why does everyone think it's an iPad? To be replaced by sending me a check. It was enough for wifey to buy a top-of-the-line replacement and all the peripheral stuff she wanted, so she's happy. I was asked if I would consider writing a letter about the charges against the entitled dad being a cultural misunderstanding, because it could affect future visa applications. I politely declined as I think being a jerk transcends culture, so he can live with his actions. Hell, he might even learn something from the experience. The idiot guard wrote a very sincere apology letter and delivered it in person. We shook hands, and I considered it resolved. Dave put him on probation, and I figured that this is a learning experience for him. Maybe next time he will hear both sides of the story and then check the cameras. I got myself another Kindle. I'm hoping that the fact it just does books and doesn't look like an iPad will keep the entitled kids and dads away. Just a quick edit. The guard did apologize for his part in this little fiasco. The entitled dad got in first with his story, which was that the big scary bearded guy was harassing his wife. I don't know the specifics of what I supposedly did or said. The wife backed up the story, threw in the crying kid, and he thought he was doing the right thing. He admitted it was stupid to not check my story or corroborate anything with the cafeteria staff, or to check the cameras. I figure we all make mistakes. Hell, I've made plenty myself. He has to redo some training and will be on probation for 6 months. If he learns from this and does not repeat it, I'm happy enough with that. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.